Good evening. When you run a race, especially a long-distance race, do you watch for the end line, or do you watch for every obstacle in the way? I remember many times taking off on long-distance races and not realizing where the end is going to be. I knew it is going to be out there, but I just kept on running. And that's how we run the Christian race. We don't know. We know there's an end line, but we don't know when we're going to get there. But we keep going. And so it's a race of faith. Many of you are here tonight. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You've heard that there's slushy weather coming in. But you know you're going to get up and you're going to go about the day. And you've already predetermined that, even though it hasn't happened yet. And that's what faith is all about. The Christian race. It's not a Christian sprint. It's more like a marathon that keeps on going. And this morning, part of my Christian race was to wake up and hear these words from Psalm 125. It said, "Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever." Then listen to these words. "As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forever." As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forevermore. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that amazing, those words? We're here today and we don't quite know what's going to happen. But we do know that no matter what happens, the Lord's going to always be there. Yesterday when I woke up, actually it was Monday, my phone was going crazy. And I had some time that I was going to work on my lessons, so I left everything upstairs, and Daween wasn't going to work. And so she eventually came, she said, "Something's going on there." And sure enough, just after 7, somebody sent in a text message, "Need to speak to you immediately." And that's kind of how it goes. But with those of us who are every Sunday in services and we're here and we're faithful, those things happen, but the panic isn't quite the same. It's not at the same level. We know that Jesus is going to be there for us. With this in mind, this next part of my reading was from Hebrews chapter 12, and it says this in the first few verses. "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which clings so easily, and let us run with endurance the race which is set before us, looking to Jesus." I think that's the key right there. Looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the name, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. We live in a very affluent time, similar to what Tyre was in the Old Testament, about the year 350 to about 322. They were so affluent. Everybody came in. It was like the New York Stock Exchange of the day. Everybody traded there. It was a very, very affluent city. But they didn't pay God any regard. And so in 321, a military force came in. This was after the time of Alexander the Great. Came in and annihilated them. There was nothing left. That's the society that we're in today. There's so much death, so much destruction, so much uncertainty. But we keep our eyes not fixed on anything else but Jesus. We can take our eyes onto something else. There's always something else that's going to lure us. But if we would fix our eyes on Jesus, we would be sure of the faith. I had a class this morning with someone that didn't attend much church. This is like the second class, and this person is saying, loves Tom's class because, giving a really good barrage of information, an outline. But had never heard of these things. And one of the scriptures that we dealt with was Thomas in John chapter 20, saying from about verse 21, where the 10 out of the 11 that survived met Jesus, and Thomas wasn't there. And so Thomas says, unless I see the hole and put my hand in the side, I'm not going to believe. And then Jesus just appears. And Thomas falls on his face and he says, "My Lord and my God." And Jesus says to him at that point, "Blessed art thou." No, you have seen, therefore you believe. Blessed are they who have not seen, yet believe. And I can insert every single one of your names in that. You've not physically seen, but you hear. You hear completely because of faith. You hear because there was somebody who witnessed Jesus, who asked the question that you and I would have asked. Unless I see him, I'm not going to believe. So we criticize Thomas, we call him a doubter, but he's our friend. He is all of our friend because of the faith that he can instill in us, knowing that, I hadn't seen, but I want to believe. So we are all here today just because of that faith and because of that great crowd of witnesses that not only surrounded Jesus back then, but that have surrounded us, that have been faithful, that have shown us the path of faithfulness. So it's our obligation tonight not just to reaffirm that faith, to make sure that conviction is strong in us, but also to test it. Is your faith reliant on anything else but Jesus Christ and His Word? Every single book of the New Testament except Philemon says preachers like me will stand in front of you and lie to you. Don't trust us. Don't listen to us. Listen to this. Listen to the Word of God. Yesterday I had the privilege of having a couple in counseling, a whole family, and one of them was a preacher, a local preacher. And, his belief system might be a little bit different from mine, because I believe that this is the Word of God. I believe this is all that we need. So reaffirm your faith based on this today, not on my words, but based on this. If you need to realign your life, your faith, if you need to be baptized, if you have any need, please come forward right now. Accept this invitation as together we stand and sing.
What can wash away my